Angle in the first. Watch out.
Look at this. Upton pops it up. Left side, Elvis Andrus is backpedaling. He is under it. He puts it away. The Texas Rangers have won a postseason series.
The Texas Rangers are American League champions. One swing. It's tied! Gonna see that option. That's a story. He's at the wall, and the legend grows! It's the Texas Rangers win the World Series!
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you top of the ninth inning. We have got a major league debut in the works. Rangers, by the way, trailing 4-0. Nolan Kingham has now loaded the bases against the Giants in his major league debut. Going to see if Nolan has got some mettle here. See if he's got some guts and can get out of this one. Horrible day all around, Elijah. I mean, the trade deadline is definitely, I think, something that we got to hash out. We'll do that a lot in the post game. And just how the Rangers strategized at this deadline in general. We'll talk about big picture. What does it mean? We'll dive in. Got a lot of analysis for you. Definitely want to finish this one out. It's been a pretty terrible ball game, but you know what? You get out of it here, who knows? Maybe some ninth inning magic, and you're right back in it. Jung Hoo Lee, Ranger killer. My goodness. Ranger killer Jung Hoo Lee, man. 2 bombs tonight. Got it started early off of Cal Quantrill in the early frames. Hit another home run off of Peyton Gray. Just been a great night all around for him. Made a pretty nice catch after losing the ball in the lights. When it's your day, as they say. First pitch to Lee, incoming. Swing and a drive. Oh, my goodness. I thought that was better off the bat, but that's going to hold in the ballpark. Feel like Dave Raymond. That was a good-looking ball off the bat. He just got it off the end. 5-0, though. Wasn't quite a grand slam. What we ever going to win again? Nate, what's good? I think chances are good, but it's not feeling that way right now. It is not feeling that way right now. G-Man, what's good? Did Skip block you now? Is that what happened? Did he block you now? Too much. Too much. All right, 5-0 ball game. Nolan Kingham trying to get out of this one. 1-1 count to Adames. 0 for 3 with a walk. Yeah, look, I don't want to go too far down a rabbit hole with Skip's social media usage, but I have had multiple people reach out to me, DM me that Skip is going out of his way to block people. Rangers creators, fans. It's weird behavior. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't want to go in too much on him personally, but I can only judge what I would do in the same situation. I wouldn't be taking the time if I was Skip Schumacher to block Rangers creators and block fans on Twitter. It's pretty petty. I run into a lot of pettiness as a creator. A lot of pettiness. I can tell you just how many people I've blocked on Twitter over the years. It's a big fat zero, man. It's not even worth the time going and tapping a few times. But some people love using the block button. I get it. Not my thing, but to each their own, I guess. I have no clue. All right, here we go. 2-2 count. Ball 3. We got runners on first and second. Not really a game you're anticipating the Rangers coming back in the ninth. Hence, Nolan Kingham making the debut tonight on the mound. By the way, if you're wondering what the backstory is on this guy, Nolan Kingham, a Texas Longhorn formerly, was drafted by the Braves in 2018. He's bounced around a little bit at the minor league level. He's played for a couple of different teams here. We'll go through some of the transactions. Looks like he was playing in Mexico for a little while. It's a pretty long transaction list, honestly. Yeah, Braves, and then after that, looks like played a little bit in Mexico, now making his way back to the majors. That's at least my read real quick here on the live. Welcome to everybody that's hanging out. We're going to finish out the game, and then I'm going to take some time, and we're going to review the trade deadline today. We're obviously going to dive into this one. Nolan Kingham going to get a strike 3 here on Willy Adames. That is the first strikeout, I believe, of his major league career. Congrats to him. He does give up a run. It's 5-0. We've got Berger, Duran, and Diaz up next. All right. Let's go ahead at a commercial break, and let's start here. The deadline today. I put out a video last night that I really stand behind in terms of, just the entire trade deadline, and my take has not changed at all over the past 24 hours. In fact, I just feel more confirmed by what I've seen tonight. And if you didn't see the video, I mean, it's up. You can go to it, but I'll give you the summary, the synopsis. I basically said, this team has put up with mediocre for too long. At the beginning of the year, this team at the onset of the season felt mediocre. It never felt like an above-average squad, especially offensively. It never felt like an above-average squad to me. I know there was some people that disagreed with me at the time. I'm not really sure what the argument is at this point. The Rangers are about to drop 3 games under 500. And I'm just tired of the Rangers waffling in mediocrity. And so what I said at the eve of the deadline is there's 2 options here. There's 2 options here. Lord Tubbington, you're welcome, man. I'm just sorry, by the way, that I didn't do this sooner. By the way, if I don't follow you and you're somebody that interacts often, it's nothing personal. Trust me. It's just me being totally ignorant. But I got to get around to following some of you guys back for sure. Pretty much anybody that interacts on a near daily basis, I'd love to give a follow back to. The people that just drop in randomly, it's kind of whatever. But we got some people that are here daily, and I want to make sure we follow back 100%. So hit me up with a DM if I'm missing you. Don't be shy about it either. That's on me. Let me get back to the point, though. I said there's 2 options here with the deadline. You're either going to buy big, which I know some people are like, why would you do that? I think that was a legitimate option here. You could have gone in on Adley Rutschman. I'm not talking about a rental piece, right? I'm talking about going and getting a guy that is for the future. Now, Adley next year is his last year before he hits free agency, right? So Adley, maybe with the lockouts, a little more risky. You could have wowed the Rockies with the Hunter Goodman deal. You could have done a number of different things, right? Is buying, maybe the most prudent, wise decision? Probably not. But nevertheless, it's better than doing nothing. It's better than doing nothing, in my opinion. The other option, if you're not getting Hunter Goodman, if you're not getting Dalton Rushing, if you're not getting some of these controllable big-name bats for the price you want, or if the other team involved is just saying, hey, they're not available, protect the premium prospects and sell. There were 2 options at this deadline for the Rangers, buy or sell, man. Not what they did ultimately, which was, kind of play the ride the fence game. Hey, we're not going to be buyers. We're not really going to be sellers. We're going to trade Josh Smith for Adam Macko, and it's going to be great. That, to me, was the worst thing you could do. Rangers could have got some capital out of some different players on the roster. Jock Peterson, I really think it was a mistake to not trade Jock. And I'm not just overreacting to tonight. I'm really not. I think it was a big mistake not to trade Jock. You wanted to get at least something back from Jock Peterson. Now he's ultimately going to walk in free agency for nothing. I don't think the Rangers are bringing back Jock Peterson on an $18.5 million option. Mutual option, by the way. I don't think anybody in their right mind would do that deal for a part-time player. $18.5 million. Maybe Jock can get that on the open market. Maybe he can. But my goodness, I am just not a fan of selling nobody here. And look, the Rangers, do they have some talent on the team? 100%. Do they have some pieces that are attractive? Yes. But your best move today was trading Josh Smith and checking in with Jacob deGrom on the no-trade clause. Those were your two best moves today. Hey, let's check in with deGrom on whether he'll waive the clause, and let's ship Smitty out of town. Come on now. And so what happens next? You still have the offseason. I think that is definitely going to be another evaluative time. And if things don't go well the rest of the way this year, I really do feel like the offseason is the time. You can absolutely trade off some players with 1 year left. You've got some expiring contracts. You can revisit it with deGrom. You can revisit it with Eovaldi. Unfortunately, Seager, you can't just trade Corey Seager anymore. Now Corey Seager's on a full no-trade clause. There is an opportunity here to trade guys still yet in the offseason. Personally, I think you should have traded him while you had more time left on the contract, tried to extract a little bit more value. It really is an unfortunate day for the front office. And look, Skip, deGrom, you can appreciate what they're saying, which is essentially, we believe in this team and we believe this team can win. And look, what would you expect them to say, right? I mean, what else are they going to say? That's not the point. Those quotes to me are politically correct, exactly what you're supposed to say. But it is so ironic to me that you have all this goodwill expressed. Skip, deGrom, we believe in this team. We believe we can win. And then you come out and do this. You come out and you have a 5-error performance where you're potentially getting shut out. Duran up to bat right now. Jake Berger, call overturned. He is out at first base. Originally had beat out potentially an infield hit. Yeah, it's so embarrassing. It makes it even more embarrassing that you had deGrom and Skip before the game expressing all these positive sentiments about the club. And then they go out and do this, man. They go out and do this. McJ, what's he up to? What's he saying right now? It just doing some sugarcoating. We'll call it. We'll call it nicely. Doing some sugarcoating, huh? Jared said we had a good deadline. I just feel like Jared. First of all, I've interacted with Jared a few different times, and it hasn't been a lot, but we've gone back and forth, DMs, text, and I think he's a good dude. He's a good guy. You might not love everything that comes out of his mouth, but I think Jared's good people. But Jared is employed by the Rangers. I mean, for all intents and purposes, right? Jared's got to be careful with what he says. I think Jared's actually pretty real at times for all the consideration of who he works for. But I think you got to definitely keep people watching and keep people positive and optimistic. You don't want every Rangers fan turning off the TV. And if Jared is just crapping on what the team is doing left and right, I don't think that's going to go over too well with the brass, with the front office and all that. I do think privately, if you got Jared privately, he'd probably give you more of a piece of his mind. Look, take that for what it's worth. You'll have to trust me on that. But yeah, I'm not shocked Jared is doing some zone coverage here, right? He did it during the buzzer merger or whatever you want to call it, the buzzer transition. They had Jared front and center doing damage control. And it doesn't surprise me he's back in action at the deadline. God bless him. He's got a tough job. He's a fan. He's trying to represent the team well, but he's got his own opinions, man. You'll have to trust me on that. He's got his own opinions. Berger batting above Duran is a little baffling to me. Duran 3 for 3 tonight, by the way. Raises the average above 270. Berger's a bit lost right now. I don't think there's any other way to put it. He had 2 hits against Houston the other day. Nice to see. I know he has a hit today. Duran, by the way, is going to hit another home run here. What is that on the year for him? Close to, I was about to say 14, number 13. Duran goes deep. The Rangers will not be shut out. They will not be shut out. They will score a run here, and it is now 5-1. The comeback is on, baby. The comeback is on. Let's go. Zeke Duran, 4 for 4. Have a day. Have a night. Duran raises the average to 274, 781 OPS. I don't think we're going to get the love the fight comment. I really don't think we're going to get the love the fight comment tonight, but you never know. You never know. Albert, that's right. We've got a chance. You saying there's a chance, baby. Elias Diaz up to bat right now. All right. Y'all help me out. I'm going to go through as much as I can here. Jackson says, I better hear love the fight. Oh, goodness. In the early 2000s, people quit caring in May. I got to go back. It's tough for me because, early 2000s, real early 2000s, I was in high school. I'm dating myself a little bit here, right? But I was in high school, early 2000s, and I actually found myself paying attention quite often. I didn't quite have the pulse of Rangers Nation, and I still don't. I kind of do. Y'all help me out a little bit, but, I'm not keeping up with what every Rangers fan thinks and feels about this team. But I get to hear from a lot of you guys. I really enjoyed watching the early 2000s Rangers. Was it terrible pitching-wise at times? Yeah. But some of those teams were fun. Like, they scored runs. I mean, you had Blaylock, Young, Teixeira. You had guys that were really smoking the baseball, making it enjoyable to watch. And so, look, I definitely hear you. It wasn't fun having the losing records and all that, but, you could almost bet you go to the ballpark, you're going to see some action. You're at least going to see the fireworks and somebody around the bases. Like, I would submit to you, and we've talked about this before on the show, Elias Diaz is going to walk right now. Give me a good offense, but bad pitching over really good pitching, but bad offense. I would much rather watch a team rake and lose a slugfest than watch a team that just looks incompetent with the bat at times. I mean, it is a tough watch. And this year, the Rangers, they haven't been as elite when it comes to the pitching. They really haven't been above average. Something that I was afraid would happen. I think I expressed that to you guys multiple times. Like, a lot of people were pushing back on me when I said, hey, this team really is just an average ball club. A lot of people said, no, addition by subtraction. They added Nimmo. They got better, right? Josh Smith is going to be playing every day. And the pitching is elite, man. They had a top 5 pitching rotation last year, and we added Mackenzie Gore. And I just said, look, it's just law of averages. Evaldi, DeGrom, another year of age, wear and tear on the tires. They're not going to be as elite next year. meaning this year when it comes to the pitching side of things. And sure enough, that's exactly what we've gotten. Our pitching isn't horrible. It's not horrible, but it's not elite. It's not, I don't even know if I want to say it's above average at this point with how we have gotten along with, some of the performances from Gore, DeGrom, Eovaldi of late. I tried to just be as realistic as I possibly could at the onset of the season. I said it can work, but the Rangers' margin for error is just so thin. It's so thin. They cannot afford if one component of the team is not clicking. It has to all be going in one, right? The defense has to be good. The pitching has to be good. The offense has to score 4 or more runs. Otherwise, this team doesn't win. Whereas you have some teams, let me use a really low-hanging fruit example here. You've got teams like the Dodgers where if the pitching's off, the offense can carry, right? If the defense is a little off, the pitching and the offense can help carry. The Rangers have to have all 3 things, synchronized swimming style, like clicking in unison in order to win baseball games. If one component of the game is off, it's incredibly hard for this team to win. Incredibly hard. But no pun intended, margin for errors. Seriously, tonight, 5 of them. My goodness. It's just embarrassing. Like, again, you have your star pitcher, DeGrom. You have your manager, Skip. Give these quotes pregame. I believe in this team. We can win here. I believe in this core. And then they go out and do this, man. Like, I know you can't control everything in the game, but it's really tough for me just not to go completely off. And look, I'm always going to keep this show PG. We got a wide range. Trust me, we got a wide range of audience members. But it's a bit of a gutless performance. And I don't use that word a lot, but it feels like a bit of a gutless performance for me. Now, maybe Cam Cauley can hit one in the gap. Peterson can come up and hit a 2-run bomb, and now we're cooking with gas. But unless the Rangers do something special here, just a gutless performance. Cauley, going to ground out here, shortstop. Looks like it's going to be a game-ending double play. We'll see if the Rangers challenge. Looked like he may have been safe. Why wouldn't you at least challenge that? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Maybe it was clear cut, but why wouldn't you at least challenge that one? I'm sure it's clear cut, but look. I guess, Mark, just get it over with. I guess. Would love to see a replay, how close it was exactly. Kind of wild. I mean, think about this. Not only do you have, the vote of confidence from DeGrom, the vote of confidence from Skip, just very ironic, the performance you get tonight, just totally pathetic and embarrassing with the 5 errors. But beyond that, you're playing a team in San Francisco. You're playing a team in San Francisco that isn't playing for anything. These guys aren't playing for anything. Nothing. They are 17 games below 500. The Giants are playing for nothing. They just sold off half their team. You're playing a team that literally was like the primo wheeling and dealing team, selling off players left and right at the deadline. My goodness. It's just disheartening. Derek, we don't need to whine, buddy. Just type your comment again. Derek, just type the question again. No need for the sensitivity, my guy. Just type the question and I'll answer it. Somebody's accusing me of ducking tough questions. Give me the question, dude. Please. I'll wait. I'll come back to you. This better be good, buddy. All right, this better be good. G-Man says he's going to a game with a poster board and a brown bag over his head. Oh, geez. Simply unacceptable to not sell at the deadline. Yeah, I would agree. You had to do some kind of selling. At least trade Jock Peterson. I know CY with the quote comes out and says, sometimes the best deal is the one you don't make. Isn't that a quote? Sometimes the best deal is the one that you don't make. Wow. Y'all saw that, right? Incredible. Just incredible. Rangers offense has been terrible since the World Series. It was lightning in a bottle. Yeah, I think a lot of us would agree with that. I don't know a lot of Rangers fans that don't agree. Man, that 23 team, it was a team that got hot at exactly the right time. And fortunately, they rode that all the way to the World Series. Like, I don't know what the hard-hitting question is there, my guy. I think that a lot of people do get offended when people talk about 2023 being a fluke. I would never call it a fluke. A fluke is when you have like tons of injuries in your way. You get very, very lucky along the course of the run that you're making. Fluke to me has always been associated with luck. And there was just never a lot of luck involved with that Rangers championship. So the only reason I push back on anybody calling 23 a fluke is you didn't have any good fortune. You literally played every series in 2023 on the road. I could go off on this for like 30 minutes, so I want to cut this short. But, I mean, the Rangers got no good luck at all in that series, in that run, period. They played Tampa Bay on the road. They had to fly across the country after game 162, play Tampa Bay on the road, all 3 games in the wild card round, won both of those games. Then you had to play in Baltimore. You had to fly to Baltimore after that. You finally got to come back home. You ended up sweeping, won game 3. Then you had to fly to Houston, play game 1 and 2 there. You lost 3 in a row at home. You beat Houston game 6 and 7 in Houston. And then, in the World Series, obviously you got some home field advantage there. But there was no good luck. There was no massive injury plagued team that the Rangers ran into. What changed from the 23 season? Regression. That's the biggest thing. It's regression. And to credit what some of you guys are talking about, like Adolis fell off a cliff. It's sad, but it's true. He fell off a cliff. You had Jonah Heim kind of falling off a cliff. Marcus Semien falling off a cliff. The Rangers got career years from multiple players in 2023. Call it a fluke, I guess. We're arguing semantics at some point, but the Rangers, I think, earned what they accomplished in 2023. But I would 100% agree. It was lightning in a bottle. It was lightning in a bottle. You had the Rangers get hot at exactly the right time. And the example I always bring up, which is painful to bring up, but it's the one I always bring up, is the 2011 Cardinals. The 2011 Cardinals were not that great of a baseball team. They barely snuck into the playoffs. The 2011 Cardinals snuck in on, I think, game 162 or game 163, and they needed like an epic meltdown from the Braves to do it. And then the Cardinals went on to obviously beat our beloved Rangers. And that wasn't necessarily the best team, but yeah, that was a lightning in a bottle team as well. I mean, it is what it is. Unfortunately, the Rangers have just never been able to reclaim that. And a big part of it is the major regression of a lot of the key players that were big contributors. Evan Carter. We didn't even talk about Evan. Didn't even talk about Evan Carter. I mean, Evan Carter was 100% electric in the playoffs in 2023. And is he coming around a little bit right now? Yeah, I think he is. He was 0 for 4 today, but obviously the average is ticking up. But Evan Carter hasn't been able to rekindle what he accomplished in 2023. That's where we are right now. That's how we've gotten here. And at this point, the Rangers, they may still win this series, right? They may win 2 games here and end up beating the Giants. It's another ESPN national game where the Rangers fall flat on their faces. What's new? But I would think at this point, the Rangers, they lose this series to the Giants. Anything can happen mathematically until you're eliminated. But, I mean, just embarrassing and, just a shame for the fans that showed up to support them tonight. Just an embarrassing, ugly effort. And the beat should be ripping them, rightfully so. I bet Evan Grant probably will. I don't know what the other beat writers will say. Maybe still try and be a little kind, but the Rangers deserve to get ripped pretty ruthlessly in the media tonight and tomorrow. They do. And you know what? If it's the catalyst that jumpstarts their season, amazing. Good. Like, people always give me a hard time, like, dude, they're proving you wrong, man. No, this take aged like milk. Good. If it was a take that you didn't like and you thought it was negative, good if it aged like milk. Because people forget, I'm a fan of this team first. That's why I started this, right? I started this because I'm a diehard Rangers fan. And so if I ever have a take that's negative or critical of the team, and there's clearly a number of fans that don't want any content slightly negative, I hope that what I'm saying doesn't become true. Like, that's what people don't get. And that's why, occasionally you see me going back and forth with people, but it is very okay with me if I have a take that's on the negative side that ends up not being true. Because then that probably means the Rangers are winning. And that's the ultimate goal anyways. Evan is the only one who comes close. Kennedy can't because she works for MLB. Wilson never pushes the envelope. McFarland, I feel like McFarland is somewhere in between Evan and Kennedy. I feel like he's probably a little on the nicer side. Evan has been pretty spicy this year. That hasn't always been the case, but I feel like Evan's been actually pretty spicy this year. Let me see. Cal Quantrill, Dan, I'll talk about Cal Quantrill. I do think that Cal is continuing to pitch just like you need him to. He's not going to be a guy that is going to be throwing up 7 shutout innings every single time. But think about this. Cal Quantrill, 6 innings, 1 earned run tonight. I mean, look, you want some positivity? This is your positivity injection right here. 3.62 ERA on the year. Quality start for your number 5 starter. And your offense and defense just has a completely putrid performance behind him. Nicky Lopez is 0 for 30. Is that right? Nicky Lopez is in an 0 for 30 right now? No way. No freaking way, G-Man. 0 for 30? He is in an 0 for 19. His last 7 games, Nicky Lopez is 0 for 19. He's in an 0 for 30? Okay, so the last time he got a hit was the July 27th. Okay, so 5, 8, 12. Yeah, 0 for 19. 0 for 19 for sure. And maybe it's worse, Kenny. You might be right, because I don't know when he got the hit against the Mariners. The last time he got a hit was in the Mariners series. Dude hasn't gotten a hit in over a week now. Mariners series was the last time. Keep on going. Who is that acts like a child on X? I mean, I'm sure I'm guilty from time to time. Lord Tubbington, who are you talking about? Darnell, good to see you, man. If you're not with us anymore, I'll hit you up another time. Lord Tubbington, I'm with you. Cam Cauley should be playing. Hey, Cholo Panda, thank you for the gifts. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Not needed, but much appreciated, brother. Means a lot. On the bright side, at least football starts soon. Amen. And I tell you guys, the two teams I cover for football, Cowboys, Longhorns. If you're not a fan of either team, please show up anyways, and you can give me a hard time. You can spend the offseason hanging out, razzing me. Who knows what the Cowboys are going to do, but some friendly trash talk is always welcome. So if you're an Aggie fan, Red Raider fan, whatever it is, come hang out, talk some trash. We'll have fun. We always do. Let's see what else we got. Appreciate all you guys coming to Houston for the game. Nah, no big time traveling plans for me. I think I am probably good for the rest of the season. Unless the Rangers make the playoffs, I may try and do something there. But look, that's looking a little dire at this point. But I probably won't be doing a lot of games in person. Maybe at some point in my career of doing this, I'd like to be a little bit more of a regular at Rangers games, but that is probably not in the cards the rest of this season unless we play in October, baby. Coming to Houston for Texans-Cowboys. Texans-Cowboys is going to be fun. I saw Jadeveon Clowney re-signed with the Texans. He was a good player for the Cowboys last year. That's all right. Like I said, I'm seeing. Okay, we got the horns down cooking on TikTok for sure. Look, like I said, you think I'm playing? Come hang out, talk some trash, man. Give me a hard time. We'll have a good time during college football season. I always tell y'all, my best friends growing up in Texas. I had 0 Longhorn fans that were my best friends growing up. Pretty much all my best friends. Aggie fans, one of my really good buddies, a TCU fan. So Texas is like a family thing for me. I did not go to the university. I know that's a big deal for some people, but a ton of my family did. My uncle, dad went to college in Austin as well. Spent some time on the campus, and it's just in the family. It's fun going back and forth with all y'all during college football season. That's for sure. We got some Boomer Sooner fans. All right. I see you. It's good. Like I said, college football season is going to be fun if we got this much diversity in the chat right now. I love it. Natalie says, happy the Rangers didn't make the gigantic mistake of selling. Yeah, I guess you'll be right if the Rangers actually make the playoffs. I don't think there's any way that this statement is accurate or true if the Rangers don't make the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs this year, there's no way that you could sit there and say it's a good thing we didn't sell. That doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I think if they make the playoffs and they make a deep run, sure. Right, sure. I could definitely eat some crow and say, good perspective here. If the Rangers miss the playoffs, selling, I should say not selling, is a completely terrible move, and it should be regarded as such. Not selling and then not making the playoffs is a horrible decision. Like, think about the Angels, right? The Angels in 2023, the year we won the World Series, they didn't trade Shohei Ohtani. They actually acquired talent, so they didn't quite do as bad as CY. Actually, they did worse, right? They brought in players, and they didn't trade Shohei, and they ended up missing October. That, to me, is 100% where we're at right now. if the Rangers in 2026 don't make the playoffs, we're really no better than what the Angels did in 23, and everybody subsequently gave them a ton of crap. Like, you got to make the playoffs for this strategy to be a good one. And if you don't, then you were wrong. And so anybody that's glad that they didn't sell, okay, let's see what they do. But if they don't make the playoffs, yeah, that's a totally inaccurate sentiment. You should be mad that they didn't sell. You should be upset that they thought that this team was going to figure it out and they didn't have the foresight to realize otherwise. All right. Let me see. Matt, Mariners have a ton of prospects, refuse to use it to their advantage. I can't speak too much to Seattle. Rays offered Caminero for Shohei. Fun alternate universe. That is a fun alternate universe. All right, where's this question that I'm missing? Cade's question. Cade, where are you at? Where are you at? How much longer do I think Wynns has? I'd rather see O'Hoppe or Cooper Johnson. Shouldn't have too much longer, right? Shouldn't have too much longer. I mean, Wynns had, 2 errors tonight? I don't know have they really talked about what they are trying to see from O'Hoppe? That was what I was trying to figure out. I was actually doing some research on it during the game. Has CY or Skip or anybody commented, like, what's the goal for O'Hoppe down at AAA? Are they hoping he can hit a little better, hit consistently? Are they looking to see him improve defensively? I haven't really heard them talk about O'Hoppe a ton. But I can tell you this, I don't think O'Hoppe's doing a whole lot worse than this. Like, here's the thing with Wynns. He has a good pop time. It doesn't matter if you have a good pop time, though, if you can't throw the ball accurately. And Austin Wynns is not hitting either. I'd probably rather go to O'Hoppe at this point. O'Hoppe's not going to be the answer. I mean, so let's not get psyched out of our mind for the Logan O'Hoppe call-up. I think O'Hoppe is, a nice depth piece at this point that has a bit of a ceiling. I think that he probably should be up at this point. If it was me, I'm not really sticking with Austin Wynns for too much longer. If I'm going to get performances like this, you might as well go Logan O'Hoppe. Let's talk about Malcolm Moore. Malcolm Moore got a lot of hype at the beginning of the year. A lot of Rangers fans at the beginning of the season watching Malcolm Moore rake in high A, very, very encouraged. And I think that clearly his promotion to Double A was deserved. Malcolm Moore, over the last month, I believe hit below 550 for the OPS in the month of July. And I believe the average was, 175. So Malcolm Moore did not have a good month of July. It's possible the adjustment period just been a little rough for him, and maybe you can just chalk it up to that. But the other thing I want to add in with Malcolm Moore, Evan Grant, recently on one of his podcasts that he does every so often, basically said in so many words, don't want to butcher this, but said in so many words that in the organization, they do not necessarily believe that Malcolm Moore is the long-term answer at catcher. That to me means he is likely to be moved to a different position eventually. So Malcolm Moore, I think, might end up maybe being a first baseman. Maybe they move him to the outfield. Not really sure. But Evan Grant saying on one of his podcasts recently that Malcolm Moore is not really viewed as a catcher long-term in the organization. Take that for what it's worth. Clearly, Evan is a little bit, and I'm putting that lightly, a little bit more connected than I am to people around the organization. I've got a couple of contacts here and there, but it's nothing crazy. I definitely think that the Rangers in the offseason, since they didn't do anything at the deadline, I'd love for them in the offseason to do something about the catcher spot, right? Go get a guy that can be the catcher of the future. Like I'm really tired growing growing really frustrated with them continuing to piecemeal the catcher position together year after year, signing these vets that are, a bit washed up. I'm not trying to be disrespectful when I say that, but there's not a much better way I can describe it. You're signing guys that are over the hill, right? They're on the back nine of their career, and I'd like to see the Rangers actually get a long-term answer at the catcher spot. All right. We keep going, keep rolling. Appreciate you. I'm trying to go back as much as I can. Brad says they're trying to get O'Hoppy's swing back. That makes sense. I mean, he's not having a good year swinging the bat. Lopez hasn't gotten a hit in like 25 ABs. He really is not doing a whole lot right now. You probably should start playing Cauley a little bit more. I don't think that there is any reason not to be. Lopez did have a nice play defensively today, but look, it's not a reason to keep him in the lineup, man. It's really not. I would agree it's not going to be worse than Lopez. I don't see that happening. We keep rolling. Appreciate all you guys trying to keep up. Lopez's magic ran out. Yeah, I didn't want to be right. But I kind of said the same thing even with Jacob Latz, and I know a lot of people, don't want to hear this, but with Jacob Latz, I know that the reports came out this morning that the Rangers were listening on Latz. They were listening to offers on the All-Star closer, first-time All-Star. And I said, it's wise to sell high on Latz. And hear me out here. Selling high does not mean trading him for peanuts. Selling high means you get an overpay. Maybe it's small, maybe it's big, and you sell high. That's what I mean, just to clarify that terminology. Now, hear me out on this. Jacob Latz is 30 years old. He's 30 years old. He's got about 3 years left on his rookie deal. Most likely, you're not re-signing Jacob Latz at the end of his rookie deal. You're not going to re-sign him. You are going to probably trade him before then, or you are going to let him walk in free agency. We all know how fickle the closer position can be. One guy can be super dominant one year, lights out, awesome closer. And then the next year, the pitcher, same guy, is soiling the bed left and right. Closer dominance is so fleeting in this league. Jacob Latz, I think by all measures, has totally overperformed this year. Totally overperformed. I would love to think that Jacob Latz is going to do this again. And maybe he will. And if he does, I'll be happy to eat a massive plate of crow. But the odds are not in his favor. The odds are not in Latz's favor. Just like I told you guys in the offseason, the odds are not in our favor that the pitching is going to be as dominant as it was in 2025. I feel the same exact way about Jacob Latz. Is Latz going to fall off a cliff and be terrible next year? Probably not. Is he going to be at the level he's at this year? Probably not as well. I don't know that the whip is going to be 0.6 next year with the ERA at 1.5. I just don't think that's going to happen. I would probably bet against it. Now, could Latz give you a sub-3 ERA and a 0.99 or a 1.1 whip? Yeah, I think that's realistic. I don't think what Latz is doing this year is necessarily going to be duplicated. And so that is why I think the Rangers should have at least considered it. And I would be fascinated, absolutely fascinated to know what was the best offer they got on Jacob Latz today. I would love to know. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in some of those conversations, teams calling on Jacob Latz. And you know what? Maybe we would hear and we would laugh and say, yeah, stupid deal. Glad they didn't go with that one. Who knows, though? Latz, to me, maybe he should be a starter again. Starters do have more value. We know this. We've talked about this with Kumar Rocker. A lot of people wanted Kumar Rocker to move to the bullpen. I've pretty vehemently said, don't do that. You'll instantly tank his value. And sadly, with Jacob Latz, you've kind of done that a little bit. Fortunately, he's had such a good season that he has a good amount of value. Jacob Latz might end up one day moving back to the rotation, and if he can develop into a frontline starter, he's infinitely more valuable than what he is right now as a closer. So I think there absolutely is logic in potentially moving Jacob back to the starting pitching rotation. Are they going to do it? I don't know. And if they do, I'm a little nervous about what the back end of the bullpen is going to look like. But if you see a lot of potential in Latz and you think he can be a starter, I do think you try and see what he's got in the rotation, especially with some of the things that are in motion right now. You've got clearly Mackenzie Gore for another year potentially. You've got DeGrom. You've got Evaldi, Leiter, Rocker. Maybe that's the rotation in 26. Maybe not, though. I'm very curious what's CY going to do in the offseason. Are you going to see CY make some deals, trade off some players, or are we just going to try and run this back again? Maybe they'll let Jock Peterson walk, and maybe they'll use that money to try and sign a bat of some sort. Don't know what it could be. I am very interested, man. But I fear that in 27, we're pretty much going to be running out a very, very similar team. And when you think about it, we'll be able to. The only player that really is an impact that is on a half or expiring contract is Jock. And I think you can absorb that with Seager DHing, with Nimmo DHing. All you really have to do is maybe add one more player on offense, and you literally could run out just about the exact same crew. And I do wonder if they're going to do that. Where do we pick up the paper bags after tonight's game? Drilling end, freaking hilarious, by the way. But, it was not a great game tonight. I feel bad for the fans that spent their hard-earned money on a ticket this evening. I mean, that's some little league stuff. Lord Tubbington, my bad, man. It's been a long day. It's been a frustrating game. No excuse for me forgetting. I mean, Walcott is going to be that guy they add, right? I do think if I had to bet on this right now, it's going to be letting Jock walk. I don't think they're going to re-sign Jock. Unless Jock loves Arlington and just wants to come back on a team-friendly deal, I don't think the Rangers are going to exercise the $18.5 million option on Jock. I think they would be insane to do so. Lord Tubbington, the only thing, now that you're saying this about Berger, the only way I think Jock sticks around is if the organization wants to really commit to him as an everyday player, and maybe they put Jock at first base, and Jock just gets in the lab and becomes the best first baseman he can be, and then you trade Jake Berger. That could be the scenario where Jock sticks around. I would absolutely hate it if they just bring Jock back as a platoon DH that's only going to play against right-handed starters. It's just not going to work for me. CBA lockout does have people scared to make moves. I totally agree with that. Appreciate the comment. It definitely is. It's definitely a factor. I will say that, and I agree. Should have traded Jock. We won't have him next year. I don't think Jock returns next year. I think the Rangers pass on the $18.5 million option, and I think they let him walk. Look, I can't imagine them spending $18.5 million for another season of Jock. No disrespect to the season that he's having, but this team is not in a spending mood right now. They're not in a spending mode. I don't think they're going to spend $18.5 million on him. Hey, appreciate this so much. Eric, appreciate this. Thank you for the gift. Not needed, but much appreciated, brother. Hope you're having a good night. We'll keep rolling. What's the stance on Cody Freeman? I'm not really sure what's going on with Cody. I know he had some surgery on some of the issues that he was going through with the back. I think he's doing some stuff at the minor league level right now. I don't know how much Cody is going to come back and make a huge impact. I think that he obviously is a bit of a spark plug type player. I'd imagine he's definitely going to be back up when rosters expand. But I don't know that, this team is a Cody Freeman away from competing. But I do think Cody has a potential to be a nice depth piece and hopefully more than that. But yeah, Cody, obviously a good dude, a friend of the show. But I am not over the top convinced that any one minor league player right now, even Walcott in his current state, is going to change the fortune of this team. Yeah, Cody's at Round Rock right now. And I don't know that there's a plan to recall him. I think probably leave him where he's at. Don't keep burning the options. That would kind of make the most sense to me. Who owns the Rangers after Ray Davis is gone? Family, maybe? I have no clue who the minority owners are, what they have worked out, but Ray Davis is keeping the purse strings tight right now. Cody should be playing. Yeah, what would you do though? Like, who would you sub him in for? Nicky Lopez is probably the easy target, right? But I mean, Cam Cauley's kind of the natural to slide in there. Unless you're saying Cody Freeman over Cam, I don't know. Keep rolling. Teams and players rarely exercise the mutual option. Matt, you're right. You're definitely right on that. I don't see it happening. If you buy the Rangers to save them, I'll send you 5 roses. That's awesome. You know what? If things go really, really well for me, I 100% will see what I can do about that. Oh man, that's too much. That is too much. Appreciate all you guys. Hey, Sauce Love, appreciate the gift, man. Certified bench warmer, appreciate the gift. Again, not needed. Appreciate the generosity, guys. Very much appreciated. Grateful. Look, we don't take any support of the show for granted. Whether it's a gift, a comment, a like, a share, it's all good. Thank you so much. So means a lot. All right, let's keep rolling. 6 straight losses. Charles, appreciate the rose, man. Yup, Brian, I'm with you. Deadline was frustrating. Game was probably even worse. It's just like kind of like on TikTok, Lord Tubbington. Like, I don't know if you've ever gotten on lives. Like, it's just like a little way of like giving like a tip or a gift. It never, I think it's a new thing with YouTube because it used to just be like straight up like $1.99. I think you can still do that. But anyways, I think that's how it works out. Keep on rolling. If Gore pitches tomorrow, I'm going to barf. Isn't he the starting pitcher? Oh, Sugi, I don't even want to think about that losing streak, that level of losing streak. But I'll tell you what, right now, it feels like anything is possible, sadly, and not in a good way. Not in a good way. Rosenthal just posted an article about DeGrom. I'll have to see if I can pull this up while we're talking, while I'm on the live right now. We'll see if I can find anything here. Definitely should have done more before the deadline. Well, again, my firm stance has always been no to mediocrity. Don't stand pat. Either sell big or buy big. And I know some of y'all were really opposed to the idea of buying big. I'll say this. I would have been able to get behind a big buying shopping spree if CY would have done that. Don't give up Walcott, but you know what? You trade Santos, you trade Scarborough, you trade some major league talent. I could have gotten behind a big buy piece. I really could have. But I can't get behind doing nothing or, doing very, very small moves around the edges. I similarly could have gotten behind a big sale. I wanted to see one of the two extremes. I wanted to see big time buying or I wanted to see big time selling. I did not want to see what the Rangers did ultimately at the deadline, which is basically nothing. The team has been mediocre for too long this year. They haven't shown enough to really have the confidence and belief that they're going to go deep into October. The manager obviously expresses confidence in the team. Jacob deGrom expresses confidence in the team today. But the front office clearly doesn't have a lot of confidence in the team. If they did, they would have bought today. That is the bottom line. I think if I could just sum everything up from the trade deadline today, the front office doesn't believe in this team. It kind of is going to get spun like they do, but they don't. If you believe in a team, if you believe in the team, you buy. There's no other way around it. You're going to see CY sugarcoat it and spin it in the media like we feel great about where we're at. We're only a couple games out. We hit a little rough patch. We're getting back Josh Young, Montgomery. We're getting back Cody Bradford. It's going to be great. If CY really believed in this team, he would have gone ahead and he would have bought. And this next question is very valid here. I want to go to it. If the front office doesn't believe, why didn't we sell? Well, there's a number of different factors. There's a number of different factors here. I mean, first of all, you've got the owner, right? Did Ray Davis want to see the team get sold off? I tend to think he probably wasn't pushing strong for that. Otherwise, I think the Rangers would have done more to sell. You could have sold off Jock Peterson and freed yourself up of, what, $6 or $7 million? They tried to sell deGrom, but then they kind of gave up after that. You kind of gave up after that. Look, Seager, you could have traded. Brad, you couldn't have traded Evo, but Seager had a limited no-trade clause. And basically with Seager, you just couldn't trade him to 8 teams that were on Seager's list. You had 22 other teams that you could trade Corey Seager to. But they basically gave up on that. Again, Seager, you could have traded. How much could you have gotten for him? Who knows? Evo and deGrom had the full NTCs. And maybe Evo said no. I don't know if it was even addressed. I do think that would have started a bit of a waterfall effect. Yes. Had deGrom wanted to go, I do think Evo would have probably maybe similarly decided, yeah, I'm open to it too. I think that was Ken Rosenthal's comment, Lord Tubbington. I don't necessarily know if that was Ray Davis's. Not sure if Ken spoke to Ray directly, but I think that was Ken basically musing. I think that was Rosenthal musing, man. If he's able to do that, Ray Davis is going to be really happy. I mean, I don't think he would have put a lot of money back into the team. I don't think that would have been the case. Missed the 23 squad as well, 100%. Seager being a full-time DH, James, is only going to happen if Jock is no longer on the team. Evo does have full no trade, so it was Evo and it was deGrom. Seager could have been traded, but he had 8 teams that you couldn't trade him to. So Seager, you could have dealt him to the 22 other teams that aren't on his list. We keep going. My thought was Davis doesn't want to see empty seats if they sell big. That's kind of where I was at. I have a feeling, once deGrom said no, you probably put the heads together and said in so many words, let's not make this ugly, right? Let's try and keep this team mildly competitive. And I think that's kind of been the philosophy for the last 2 years. Like, what can we do so this team isn't dog crap terrible, but let's not spend too much money. Let's just kind of keep this team like on the cusp to just totally mid and see where it lands. See if we can get hot again like in 2023. Cripple King says, I'd take the 22 offense. I would too. You're right. They were pretty good, but yeah, the pitching was not amazing that year. Could see Jock or Berger getting DFA'd at the end of the month if this team is toast. Yeah, I think they may do that, and then Jock could maybe pick up somewhere else, right? That could be a possibility. Maybe you try and save a little money on Jock. I do think that is a real possibility, Brad. If you've got the Rangers way out of it, I do think that there is a possibility they could dump Jock to save a little bit of money. They we kind of had this debate last year with a couple of different players, but that is, I think, a really real possibility. Keep on going. Evaldi almost was dealt. Yeah, there were a lot of almost today, weren't there? A lot of almost today. Let's go to today's game real quick. Put a bow on this. Seager with the hit. Peterson with the hit. Duran 4 hits. Duran out-hit the rest of the entire team tonight. Duran 4 hits. Rest of the team 3 hits. Ezequiel Duran, about the only one that showed up tonight, although he did have that error in the second inning. Not great. Not great. Kind of kick-started the downfall, but he did make up for it in a big way. Look, he had 10 strikeouts tonight. Not horrible, but not great. Only 3 walks. Bullpen was a little bit off. Kingham will not really count him in the mix. Peyton Gray did give up the home run to Lee. Lee was smashing tonight big time. Peoples gave up a walk, but he pitched a scoreless. Cal Quantrill's got to be player of the game. I know in a loss, player of the game doesn't ring very true, but I mean, look, Cal Quantrill, 3.62 ERA, 6 innings, 1 earned run. Good stuff from him. And then let's go to the game tomorrow before we close up shop here. So tomorrow, Mackenzie Gore on the bump. Gore against the Giants doesn't have a lot of numbers, but against Adames, 0 for 6 lifetime. Devers, 0 for 9 against Gore lifetime. Gilbert, 0 for 2. And Lee, 1 for 4. That's it. And then we're facing Tidwell for the Giants. He has a 3 ERA on the year. He has just 12 career games and 2 starts. So this guy's pretty green. He was drafted by the Mets in 2022. Believe he was dumped, and then the Giants ended up picking him up, or did he get traded? Not sure. Yeah, they trade. Okay, the Giants traded Tyler Rogers to the Mets, and then Tidwell came back in the deal last year. That was a deadline deal. Okay, so we'll see how that goes tomorrow. Hopefully, we can end this losing streak. My goodness, it'd be nice to at least talk about winning baseball. I really am just at a bit of a loss here. No pun intended. It has been a tough last week, man. How high were we all riding on Tuesday night after that Rays win? Isn't it crazy what a week can do? And I think back to that Tuesday night game against the Rays. We were all just soaring. Beating the first place Rays, baby. And who are we buying? We're for sure buyers. And then 6 days later, here we are. Change just like that. You can only hope that this team figures out a way. I'm surely not rooting for them to fail at this point. What good does it do? I guess you improve your draft pick position a little bit. I'd rather see this team actually win ball games and make it interesting. It's the least they can do. Trade deadline, very underwhelming. Do not agree at all with the idea of standing pat. Either wanted to see a buy big or a sell big. It didn't happen. Now all you can do is press forward. We keep going, as I like to say. And hopefully tomorrow, the Rangers bounce back in a big way and do the home fans much, much prouder than what they did tonight. Brian, good to see you, man. I know you're coming in and I'm going out here, but it's good to see you as always, my friend. Not every team has an ownership group worth $25 billion. Yeah, look, Dodgers debate might have to be another night. I think Ray Davis should absolutely be spending a little bit more. You don't have to do the luxury tax, but at least spend a little bit more, baby. Like we don't need to be $45 million under the luxury tax to begin the season. September call-ups for tomorrow. Freeman, you're probably bringing up. And then, some of the other top prospects. I think you're bringing back up some of the pitchers. I don't think anybody really crazy, if I'm being totally honest. I don't think the Rangers were that close to trading Latz. I'm sure they listened a little bit just to see what his market was, but I don't think so. Yeah, the Game 3 Rays choke, Matt, has really come back to haunt them. Really has come back to haunt them. The only reason why it's on the market, would be on the market, is if you have had talks with the agent and they're not going very well. So if you know Wyatt is really adverse to extension talks, you're maybe then thinking, okay, how can we potentially get this guy, max value for him and not have him walk ultimately in free agency for nothing. I think that Wyatt Langford is definitely a player with a very high ceiling, high potential, but he's a streaky player. You're seeing that right now with Wyatt in a bit of a little mini slump right now. Feels like last year Houston starts our decline. Said that yesterday for sure, Brian. I would agree with you. Yeah, we're still saving up Latz, Sugi. We're saving up Latzy. We couldn't burn him on Thursday against the Rays. We're still saving up Jacob Latz for that next big moment. Yeah, that's right. Remember, we needed Latz for the Houston series. Bro didn't even pitch. When is Langford a free agent? 2030, I believe. It's either 29 or 30, and I want to say it's 30. I think Carter and him are on the exact same timeline. I want to say it's UFA 2030, Tubbington. I want to say that. Let me see. Evan Carter. Let me get a little SPO track up on Carter. I want to say it's 2030. Let me look at this real quick. ARB 3 is 2029. UFA is 2030. There you go. So I think Langford is on the exact same track. Exact same track there. All right, y'all. I'm going to take off for the evening. I appreciate all you guys hanging out. Thank you so much. No, it's never our most favorite when we've got to get together talking about games like this. But this is why we're called diehards, man. No fair weather. Showing up, rain or shine, as I always like to say. I really hope the boys do us much prouder tomorrow evening. We'll see. Mackenzie Gore on the bump. Should be interesting, right? That's for sure. Well, hey, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday evening. And as I always say to end every show, God bless and go Rangers.